Flat cards? Not today. I've got 5 easy ways to add texture, but wait till you see the bonus idea.
And today we're entering the drawing room. This is a Craft Your Life project kit and it is packed full of fun goodies. And we're going to be using everything from the kit today. It has stamps, dies, stencils, and an embossing folder. And I'm going to go through some really fun ways that you can add texture to your designs, starting with one of my favorites and the easiest ways to add texture, which is to use an embossing folder. An embossing folder, such as a 3D one like this, will give you immediate texture just by running a piece of cardstock through a die cutting machine. I'm going for a clean and simple design on this specific card, so I am using a white card base here, but obviously you can emboss coloured cardstock, design paper. There are so many options. I did jump the gun a little bit with this, and you'll see why a bit later on. But how beautiful is this frame? My second way that you can add texture is another fun one, and it's to heat emboss. Now we're in the drawing room, so we do want some beautiful gilded chairs, and what better way to do that than to add some gold embossing powder to some gold cardstock. Now, because gold cardstock is a little bit slippery, I would recommend using a stamp positioning tool when you're adding the stamped impression. That way the stamps don't slip too much. And if you find that your cardstock does warp when you're heat setting the embossing powder, it's easy enough just to roll it back into shape, and by the time you run it through a die cutting machine, that will help flatten out the paper as well. Now I do like to create little templates to make the dies easier to line up so that I don't have to start again. So I've just got a scrap piece of cardstock, it's slightly thinner weight. I've already die cut the chair. In that white cardstock, I'm using that gap to align that negative space over the embossed image, and then I can inlay the die, and I know that this is going to line up perfectly when I run it through my die cutting machine. Now there are 2 chairs in this set and they are labelled, and each layer is labelled. There's an A and a B chair, and on the stamp set that coordinates with it as well, these are also labelled A and B. So if it gets a little bit confusing, there are instructions inside the packaging, but they're also on the items as well. You can work it out pretty easily once you start putting it together. It actually looks more complicated than it is. Embossing is such a great way to add quick and easy texture. Speaking of easy, here's another very easy way to add some texture: layered die cuts. So I've used the nesting arches dies here to cut some very fine, like border die almost, and I've done a couple of these. So I did want to add some vellum to create, this is going to be like a window frame, and by layering a couple of die cuts together, you can layer any sort of die cuts. It doesn't have to be an arch. You can do circles, shapes, even words work like this. And just by having a couple of layers of cardstock together will give you a real subtle texture using the products that you have. And it's another way to add that subtle texture and something special to your card design. All right, we need to build on this particular panel before I can show you how we're going to be adding the texture. This is going to be my wallpaper for my drawing room. And I want a tone on tone look. I could have started with a pale pink background, but I wanted this to be very pale, and this strawberry dye ink is very pale, so it's quite subtle. And then I'm going to use a slightly darker ink and add this beautiful flourish, almost glamorous wallpaper pattern in the background. I am using the large blending tool here, which is making it a little bit difficult to, I'm having to be very gentle because they are very small gaps on the stencil itself. And my sticky grid mat needs a wash, so it's not quite as sticky as it should be at the moment. Okay, so we're ready to add the texture, and this time we're going to be adding an impression using the stencil. This is one of my favorite techniques. It kind of looks like you've used an embossing folder. It doesn't have the full depth that an embossing folder would. It's quite subtle, but it's definitely there. You can feel it and you can see it. Now, every die cutting machine is going to have its own sandwich, but you will need a silicone mat, which is a rubber-based mat, and many machines come with these, and if you don't have one, you can purchase them separately. So make sure that your machine is easy to roll through. If it's not, check your sandwich and start again. But what I love about this the most is that the stencil pattern is going to be exactly the same as the embossed pattern. It's like they line up. And how pretty is that? And remember, we've got that bonus idea. That's still coming. But to show you this specific technique, I do need to build a little bouquet, which is going to be beautiful in our drawing room today. This is a layering stencil. This one's really easy to use. Probably the thing I find hardest about this specific stencil is that I always start too close to one side of the cardstock and run out of space for the flower. So now I've gotten to the habit of working out the whole design, where it's going to sit on my cardstock before I start to create my bouquet. Now, have you guessed where we're going to go with this specific texture? I reckon you might have guessed. We're going to be adding some texture paste. Now, this can be done in many ways. I was even thinking about adding some texture paste, some clear texture paste through that last layer of leaves. I thought that would be really fun as well. I decided to go with some gold in the center of the flowers just because I thought that really tied in well with that elegance of the drawing room that we're creating today. And the sparkle of this enchanted gold is so pretty. And it was going to win, no doubt about it. One thing when you are using texture pastes is that you do need to allow a bit of time for them to dry. Typically, depending on how thick they are, typically you're going to find a half an hour should be enough, but often I leave them longer because I'd rather just be safe than sorry. Are you ready to make some cards? We're going to start with the clean and simple design, and this is going to be a gilded drawing room. I'm adding a simple sentiment across the base of the card and using the coordinating stencil here to add just a little bit of ombre ink blending to the center of the frame, just to make it more of a focal point. Now, I do want this to be a very elegant design, so I came in with some more of that gold embossing paste and decided to try and highlight the frame, and I'm using just the tip of my finger here to pick up some of the paste. I have got a mask happening around the edge of the frame itself, and then I'm just basically painting the gilded edges of my frame. It's fairly rough. I didn't want it, it was never going to be perfect. I could have put some gold ink on the embossing folder before I ran it through the die cutting machine. That probably would have been wiser, but I think this is a fun way to add another detail. All right, so I did decide to stamp in the middle of my frame. So right now you're thinking, why didn't you do this before you did the embossing? You have that stencil with the negative space. And the simple answer is, I didn't know I was going to do it. So this was a little bit of a labor of love, and I had that sort of rough gilded edge on the frame anyways, so it didn't matter if the stamping wasn't perfect. But honestly, I think it turned out okay. Most of the impression, even along the edges, wasn't too bad. But it did take me a couple of goes and a little bit of elbow work, and thank goodness for the stamp wheel, is all I can say. I did come in with some gold splatter, and I like to protect the sentiment or any flower centers. I'll often do that as well, because you can guarantee if it's going to splatter, it'll splatter exactly where you don't want it to. And because this is a drawing room, there is one more texture that you might expect. I'm going to add some flocking. This is such a fun product, and I think having that velvet look and feel is perfect for a drawing room. This is one of those products where a little goes a long way, and I found it at the bottom drawer in my room, and I've used it on things like furniture, flower centers, on critters, their beanies, scarves. This stuff can be so much fun. I don't even know if you can still get it. I think you probably can. But there's also like other products that are similar. I've actually used a cotton wool ball before to add like a white fluffy kind of texture. To get the flocking to adhere, I had the A4 adhesive sheets, but it also works really well with liquid glues. And then to add my gilded chair together, I finished all the embossing with the gold embossing and the die cutting, and then I simply could just layer it up. One thing to be aware of when you are using liquid glue and metallic cardstock is that it's not very friendly with metallic cardstock. It does adhere really well, but it takes a few extra seconds for it to adhere, and if you do get glue on the outside, it's less forgiving, it's harder to clean off. So just have to be a little bit careful not to add too much liquid glue. So the gold ink has dried, and I can add the panel to the front of my card. And I did use the extra thick foam tape to pop up the chair. I wanted that extra dimension because this is a clean and simple card. It's those small details that can really step up a card design. So we've been down the clean and simple road. Next, I got a little bit carried away with my wallpaper room. This one is going to have a green gilded chair. I do like to start with some coloured cardstock beneath the flocking. I forgot to mention that before. It just gives it, if there's an area that isn't flocked perfectly, at least I know that there's a bit of colour behind it to add that depth. Otherwise, I just assembled the card similarly to the first card. Otherwise, I just assembled the chair similarly to the first one. This is a really pretty chair. I'd like to have this in my drawing room. I'd like to have a drawing room. Does a studio count? I draw a lot in here. I'm going to assemble all our pieces now. The die cut layered arch, I decided to layer that on another arch frame. I just thought it made it look more windowy. And I added that stencil wallpaper to the front of the card. Now, wouldn't that look amazing if that was flocked? Like that whole flourishy pattern. How cool would that be? There are so many different ways to add texture to your card designs, and this one has it all, I think. And of course, the dimension is coming out everywhere in this card, and with the added texture, it's not for the faint-hearted. But I would still post this design. I would just use something like a rigid mailer or one of those post-pack bags and protect the front of the card just with a piece of cardstock. And I just love how busy this card is. It's really different for me. And all together now, our first more clean and simple design. The gilded drawing room has the embossing folder, the flocking and the heat embossing. But if you want it all, welcome to the wallpaper room with the stencil impressed background, the layered die cut frame and the shimmer paste on the flowers. Let me know in the comments below if you've got a favourite today or if you're going to try any of these techniques. I've got 2 more videos here for you to enjoy and I look forward to seeing you there. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.